Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? My name is Tapiwa, not his real name, and I am 31 years old. I was born and I was raised in Zimbabwe, but it was in the year 2022, in the beginning of 2022, that was when I came to South Africa. When I came to South Africa, it was because I was in search of a better life, and I had been driven by the hope of finding work. In particular, it was because of my mother. We were told that my mom, she had cancer because there were some fluids that were coming out of her private parts. So I was not working at that time. So I thought that it was far much better for me to cross the river and to come to South Africa so that I can work. And maybe I was going to be able to send my mom to a private hospital so that she can get her treatment. I never even imagined that the journey that I was about to take. I still remember that I was at Mbudzi roundabout intersection. When I got into this other truck, I did not have enough money. The man then said that since you do not have enough money, then I'm going to take you at the back of my truck. So, those big trucks that carry the containers, I was at the back of the container. I prayed throughout the journey because I had heard stories of people who had suffocated while they would be at the back of that container. I prayed until we arrived in Beitbridge. It was so hot, and some of the people that were with me in that container, they were actually naked because of the way that it was very hot. There was no air that was going in there. Then I came to Johannesburg. When I came to Johannesburg, I then started staying with my sister and my brother-in-law. So my brother-in-law, he was working at this other restaurant. He spoke with his boss, and then through him I was able to find work. I found a job. This was at a very modest hotel in Johannesburg, where I was responsible for various tasks, cleaning, maintenance, and occasionally helping guests with their luggage. So at this hotel, there were a lot of people that were coming from different countries, usually those that were in Europe. It was not much that I was getting paid. At least some of the people, when I'll be speaking with them, they would ask me what was my level of education. So they were even shocked that I had an engineering degree and this was what I was doing. And so they used to give me a lot of tips, but anyway, it was not enough to get by. I did my job quietly, and I was told that for me to survive in Johannesburg, I had to keep my head down. The thing that I was educated, it did not matter anymore. So I tried by all means to stay out of trouble. I did not even have enough money to get a room, so I was staying because there were security guards at that hotel, so they were given some rooms. So that is where I used to stay. During the day I'll be sleeping, and then if I was on a day shift, I'll be sleeping. Then on a night shift, I know that throughout the day I'll be sitting with the security. Then at night I'll go at work. Everything changed one night. This was in the yearly 2023. There was this other man, a very wealthy, speaking man. He checked into the hotel with his 3 wives. When he checked into the hotel, from the moment that he arrived, I knew that there was something that was different about him. But quickly after he had checked in, he then got out because he wanted to take his wife somewhere else. But he then returned back. He was alone. When I looked at this man, you could see that this man, he represented power and wealth that was very hard to ignore. He did not speak that much, but when he did, his words were direct and commanding. He called me over one evening just as I was about to finish my shift and made a request. This request, even up until this day, it sends chills down my spine. But at the same time, I do not know what I was supposed to do at that time, since I was someone that was really desperate. He asked me to find a woman. So when he said that he wanted me to find a woman, I thought that he wanted me to get a prostitute for him for a tip. But he said that he wanted me to find a mad woman, someone who was mentally unstable, living on the streets, and bring her to his room. This was what he said. He said that if I was going to do that, he was going to pay me handsomely for the task. I was taken aback and I did not know how to respond. I was scared. I thought that maybe he wanted to get me arrested. My instincts told me that something was terribly wrong. He invited me to his room. That was when I saw a pile of cash, and he said that this is the money that I am going to give to you. He showed me a stack of cash which was 78,500 rands, and he said that he was going to buy for me a bus ticket so that I won't waste the money, because as soon as I had done this, he said that there won't be need for you to work here anymore. You need to return back to your country. So this was more money that I had ever seen in my life. You won't even believe it. At that time, the money that I was getting paid, it was only 2,600 rands. Whilst I was working at that hotel, I was surviving on tips. This money was so much money. It was enough to change my circumstances forever, to start a new life. So I calculated and I said that at least per year I'll be only making round about 30 something thousand to 40,000 rands a year if I will continue working at that hotel, which means this money, for me to be able to save so much money, I calculated and I saw that I needed to work at least for 5 years in South Africa, just surviving on the bare minimum, so that I can just raise something like that money that he was offering to me. Despite that feeling that I had in my gut, the temptation was too strong. I was desperate to improve my situation, and the money was too much to pass up. I found a woman who fit his description, someone who had been wandering the streets near the hotel. When I looked at her, she was sleeping right close to this other Iveco bus. I went and I spoke with her. To my surprise, because of the charm that the man had given to me to rub on my face if I was going to come across a mad woman, she started speaking with me as if she was a normal woman. I told her that I had a job for her, and I lied to her into the hotel with the promise of food and shelter. She was vulnerable and she did not resist. I led her to the men's room, trying to push aside the guilt. The man had already given the security some money so that he can turn the other way a blind eye. So we went through the back door. The man then handed me the money as promised and told me that I had to leave immediately. So throughout the night, this man, he had his way with this mad woman. I took the money and I walked away, hid it, and trying to convince myself that what I had done was not wrong. But deep down, I knew that I had participated in something that was quite evil, something that I would never be able to forget. Later, I learned that the man was involved in dark rituals that required human sacrifices to maintain the wealth. The woman that I had brought to him had been used in one of those rituals. I really do not know what happened to her after that night. With the money that had been given to me, I waited until it was 3 a.m. when he gave me the signal. I really do not know what happened to her after that. With the money, I returned back to my country. I opened up a small grocery shop just as I had planned. On the surface, it seems as if I had succeeded in a foreign land, but the guilt has never left me. Every time when I am sitting in my shop, I am reminded of how I got the money to start with. I see the face of the woman that I betrayed, and I wonder what happened to her, what kind of suffering she endured because of me. I have tried to move on, to focus on building a better life for myself and my family. My mom, she has since passed away, and it is impossible to carry the weight of the things that I did, because I feel like there is someone who has placed a ton of bricks on my chest. Each and every day, I keep on thinking about that mad woman. This is my own confession. When you post my story, please tell me, because I'll be following through in the comment section.